I'll tell you something right now. You'll watch this entire season. After you're done with it, there's only one thing you'll want to do. Get McDonald's. No way I was going to do this review without, product placement, right? Start the review. Season 2 of Loki is going to be dropping on Disney Plus this week. It's going to start this week, and it's going to be one episode per week after this. I got to see the first 4 episodes out of the 6, and I feel like that's a sizable amount to give you some first impressions, some thoughts on what I think of it. As you know, He Who Remains was killed at the end of the first season, and so now the whole multiverse is coming apart, timelines are rupturing, and everything is going to hell. And Loki is being pulled through time as a result of it, not being able to figure out what exactly to do to stop what's coming. And so he has to work with Mobius once again, and with other characters like Sylvie, Obi, etc., in order to make sure that whatever is going to come does actually not come. And that's the best way I can talk about the season, because I know there's a lot going on when it comes to Loki Season 2, spoilers that I don't want to give away, and this is a spoiler-free review. And so I'm going to keep things a little bit vague. The first season of Loki is one of the best things, I think, in the MCU. I loved that, and I really had a great time watching it. I saw it multiple times, actually. And so I was excited to see what they would do with Season 2, because I think that in terms of the multiverse, this is the best that they've handled it so far in this show. Also, Spider-Man, both of them were self-contained stories that also understood that the character mattered above the rest of it. Like, the multiverse stuff is happening, but at the same time, you care about it because you care about the characters. So you have enough time you've spent with Loki and enough time you've spent with Spider-Man to have that kind of an investment. When you get into some of the other stuff that's handled in multiverse, it's a bit jittery, because sometimes it takes setting up what's to come over, the rest of it. And that, I feel like, is something that this show avoided. Season 2, I'm pleased to report, does that too. And right out the gate, I'll say this. It is the next good thing in the MCU this year. I feel like they really needed that pulse. They had to find something that went, all right, we've got some life in here. Because the MCU recently has been on a bit of a dice roll scenario. It's like you're either going to like what they're doing or you're not going to like it. And so far they were sort of losing 1 to 2, because Guardians 3 was good, but no one really loved Secret Invasion and people were divided on Quantumania. This, I would say, is definitely Guardians 3 level, good. I had a good time with Loki Season 2. Mostly because Tom Hiddleston, even almost 13 years later, is so good at playing this character and has such a great time playing this character. You can't help but be invested in every single thing that he does. And once again, he does a very good job with Loki, and it's amazing how much I've come to care for this character. Keep in mind, think of how he started off and where we've come. This is one of the best character arcs that the MCU has ever pulled off, and they've done a really good job once again. His whole rapport with Mobius, once again played by Owen Wilson, loved it. There's a lot of great moments in here between the two of them, because they've, established that bit since the first season. And there's a couple of really good moments in here, because you sort of have to realize that now that the TVA has been exposed to be variants and people are out there, the real life that could have been lived, sometimes that weighs heavy on people in this particular season, because they'll have a conversation and go, don't you want to know? Don't you want to have a shot at it? And this happens especially with the more antagonistic, characters and elements in the entire season, which does have a bit of a sympathetic side to it, because even in that sense, you're like, yeah, maybe you do want to see that. And I think that that's a really great idea. And we spent some time dealing with that particular concept. It's not something that's throwaway. Of course, there is the other side of it, in that, He Who Remains being dead, now all of the variants of him are descending upon the multiverse. And so you have to deal with that too. And that way, you have to set up that side of the MCU. But the show is more focused on still telling the character stories than it is being like, here's the setup for Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, or Secret Wars, or something like that. Speaking of supporting characters, Ke-Huy Quan is in this season playing OB, and I love this guy. He's awesome. And this is the second thing that he's done in the last 2 years, which is multiverse related. At this point, I feel like that's what he's doing, and he seems to have fun doing it, so go ahead. He's having a really good time in this season as well. He shows up and it's like this huge surge of life, that the whole scene gets. I mean, the guy is just as fun in the show as he seems in real life, which is really, really great. And there's some great scenes with him as well. Everybody in the show is really good. Once again, Sylvie, played by Sophia Di Martino, fantastic. I thought she was one of the best parts of the first season. I think she's really great here as well. You get some great moments with her, once again. And she happens to be working at McDonald's. I feel like that's not a spoiler. It's been in the promos. So, in celebration of her, we will have another fry now. They really do a good job sometimes with the fries, You have to give credit where it's due. Visually also, the show is very good, which I know seems like a small thing to say, but then right now, the MCU, when it comes to CGI, has been so stuffed that sometimes you have to sort of take a second and go when something looks good and when something doesn't look good. And in this case, this is pretty good looking. They've actually done a good job over here, so great. I do want to give it some credit over there. Some great production design and some great set work as well. Lots of practical stuff, which I did appreciate. And also, because you have a couple of major CGI elements in here, like Miss Minutes, voiced again by Tara Strong, you do get some fun stuff over there as well, which was really, really cool. I had a really good time with this particular season so far. I haven't talked too much about the whole Kang thing because I feel like saying anything else would be going into details which I don't think I can quite give away yet. The direction is solid. It's very tightly paced and written. Natalie Holt once again does a great job with the score, and I'm very pleased with the current trajectory of the season. That's all I can really say without really getting into spoilers, but I had a very good time with it. Each episode is really well constructed. I would say there's a bit of a thing between episodes 1 and 2 where I feel like some information was missing. We jump into episode 2 and it feels like some stuff has happened between the end of 1 and the start of 2 to sort of connect why a character is in a specific location. And I was kind of like, okay, wait a minute. Is there 15 minutes on the cutting room floor somewhere? Would be nice if that was there so it would be a little more seamless leading into that part. But that was a little abrasive. But beyond that, I would say it's pretty solid. And I'm excited for you guys to check it out once it starts dropping on Disney+. And once the 4 episodes are done and when 5 and 6 are coming out, depending on how that works out, I will do reviews for those as well and sort of give a final grade once that's done. But as of right now, initial thoughts, very happy with Loki season 2. Think it's just about as good, if not better, than the first season. I'm having a very good time with it. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more videos very, very soon. And let me know what you guys think of Loki season 2 once it starts off. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe. Thank you very much once again. If you'll excuse me, the fries are calling to me. I always do sometimes this and burger later, so.